That was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. I'd like to tell you who I am. I mean, I'd like to tell you that. I did take third place in the presidential elections. I got 1.3 million votes. I thought, and still do think, that I am uniquely qualified to be President of the United States, but I'd like to let you maybe judge that. I'm going to also hand out some advice here this afternoon, and my advice is worth exactly what you're paying for, which is nothing. But the first bit of advice is be an entrepreneur. Whatever it is that you do in your life, apply it entrepreneurially, and you will never regret that decision, ever. And it's never too late to start on this endeavor. It'll never be easier than tomorrow to start on this endeavor. Another is understanding that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. That's the given. And when things go wrong, you can decide to curl up on the couch and be the victim, or you can just embrace the fact that this is going to happen. And that's what success really is based on, is your ability to deal with adversity. 2 blown tires coming in here this morning. But it was the rule, so deal with it. Think of your life as a movie. You are the producer, you're the star, you're the director. You're on the big screen every single day, you're watching it. Do you like what you see? And if you don't, there's one person in charge. There's one person that can change the whole thing, and that's you. And you can do that right away. So think of your life as a movie. I've been an entrepreneur my entire life, starting at 12 years old. I started a one-man handyman business, and I've never stopped being an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur today. Some things are happening here that actually get to be announced on Monday that I'm extremely excited about. But I started a one-man handyman business in Albuquerque in 1974 and actually grew it to become the largest construction employer in the state of New Mexico, over 1,000 employees. It's amazing what can happen when you show up on time and you do what you say you'll do for people. And I sold that business in 1999. Nobody lost their job. It gave me the financial freedom to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And for me, money has always represented freedom. The ability to do what I want to do when I want to do it. But a couple of things that I learned in business that I think were really important. One was sharing in the profits. It's amazing what happens when you get everybody pulling in the same direction, because everybody profits off of being able to do that. Everybody benefits. Another thing is hiring and firing. I've hired a lot of people, and I pride myself on hiring really, really good people. But in that process, I hire a whole bunch of people that don't work out. And there is nothing harder in the world than firing people. Nothing is harder than firing people. But if you don't fire people, things don't work out, and you end up going bankrupt. So I know how easy it is to hire, and it's a wonderful thing to hire. I know how difficult it is to fire, but I've fired a lot of people. Mitt Romney in the debate against Obama, he said, "I love firing people. I hate firing people. I hate it, but I may have collectively hired and fired more than all the other presidential candidates running for president than anybody up there. But it's the ability to fire that you're out of business." And that actually ends up being the dysfunction of government. Think about it. President Obama never hired, never fired, and now he's president of the United States. And he's hiring a whole lot of people, and it's easy to hire people. It's like handing out candy. Things don't work out. If you don't fix the things that don't work out in the private sector, you go bankrupt. But in the public sector, because you avoid that confrontation of firing, it just becomes dysfunctional. And if you're hiring people who have never hired and fired, which is what has happened, this dysfunctionality gets bigger and bigger, but that's government in a nutshell, and that's really the breakdown of government. I have a wonderful family. I have a daughter, Afsea, who's 34, son Eric, 31. I'm engaged to be married. I'm in love, Kate Prusak. A year ago today, as a family outing, we were in South America climbing Aconcagua, the highest mountain in South America. Talking about things that can go wrong, will go wrong. We get up at 4 a.m. To start the climb to 23,000 feet. From 20,000 feet, the temperature is 50 below. It's blowing like crazy. It is really, really cold. We get to 21,000 feet. The guide plops down. Hello, are you okay, man? Are you all right? No, I'm too cold. I'm going back down. It took me about 10 seconds to come to grips with the fact that this is going to be a great story for the rest of my life. He was kind of an ass, so, all right, good. Well, we don't have to go to the summit with you. I didn't say that, but we did. We managed to find our way to the top, and we summited. And it all worked out. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. I'm also a competitive athlete. That's a bit of an oxymoron when you're talking about a 61-year-old, but I still am. I competed in the 24-hour mountain bike world championships, or U.S. championships last year. I thought I was going to be the U.S. national champion over 60, but it turned out in the event that in the solo category, in the men's solo category, they only had one category, and that was solo men. And out of 60, I took 15th. Nobody older than me finished ahead of me. But I have a goal to climb the highest mountain on each of the 7 continents. And 3 months ago, I was in Indonesia for a month climbing Karstens Pyramid, which is the highest mountain on the continent of Australasia. Ended up to be the hardest 12 days of my life. But anyway, out of the 7 summits, I have climbed 6 of those 7 summits, including Mount Everest. So been pretty fortunate, and a year from now, I plan to be climbing the last one that I have, which is the Antarctica. Yeah, it should be good and cold, I think. I got to be governor of New Mexico. I had never run for political office prior to running for governor of New Mexico, never even counted in a campaign sign. I went and I introduced myself to the Republican Party a couple of weeks before I announced. What they said was, wow, we like you, we like what you've got to say, but you're never going to get elected. It's not possible. Not possible. Well, how did that happen? Well, I paid for my own campaign in a state that was 2-to-1 Democrat. What I said was, let's just bring a common sense business approach to state government. Best product, best service, lowest price. Let's put issues first and politics last. Well, I want to tell you that I think that it worked out really, really well. One thing that I was distinguished for is I vetoed 750 bills while I was governor of New Mexico. Only one got overridden. Now let me put this into perspective. The other 49 governors in the country combined did not veto 750 bills. And I have to tell you that it really did make a huge difference. You know, most legislation that passes is fix-up language for prior legislation. I signed off on that stuff. I vetoed 750 bills, not fix-up language. I vetoed bills that I think ultimately would have grown government. And then I signed bills. And I have to tell you, in retrospect, looking at this in retrospect, I signed bills that grew government. At the time, it didn't seem that way. At the time, it seemed like I was being really prudent and conservative, but looking at it in hindsight, signing bills. Anytime a bill gets signed, other than this fix-up language stuff, it grows government. I'll give you an example. Legislation, 2 pieces of legislation, 2 different bills came to me. Create a Department of Indian Affairs in New Mexico. Well, no, I think it's redundant and it's going to cost a whole lot of money and I don't want to establish an entire new bureaucracy. 2 times that bill came to me, 2 times I vetoed it, 3rd time it comes to me, no taxpayer money